Hi, I'm Dawn and welcome to Keto Food Network. Today I have a special treat for y'all. We're going to be learning how to make Asian-inspired pork ribs with the side of coleslaw. Everything's homemade, everything's packed with flavor, so come to my kitchen and I'll show you how to do it. Come on, let's go. Welcome back to the Keto Kitchen, folks. Let's get started by making the coleslaw because it has to be made and then chilled while the ribs are getting prepared, okay? So what we're going to need is just a small head of cabbage. I usually peel out the outer layer of cabbage because that's the dirtiest and it's the weakest, limpest, whatever. I'm just going to throw this stuff right in my sink. Okay. And get your knife. Actually, get my other knife here. Cut the cabbage in half, and what we want is like strings, you know, like just like small pieces of cabbage, like you would find in the bags that's already prepared for you. Just try to make them real thin. Or you can go with the summer style cabbage dices, which is like, you know, you cut them up and square them off like you would like peppers or something. So we're just going to continue to cut up our cabbage. And I always check to see how far I'm going because I do not want to cut up this core right here. That's not too edible or tasty. So we'll just cut that out. Okay, so we diced up our one small to medium sized cabbage head depending on how many people you're feeding. And I'm just going to toss the chopped cabbage right here in this bowl. It needs to be big enough where you can mix up the mayonnaise and the other ingredients. You don't want the bowl too small because then you won't have any space to do some good mixing. Okay, there we go. Okay. The next ingredient is one small carrot. Carrots I know are not keto friendly because they do contain a lot of sugar, but I'm actually making this coleslaw for my husband, and when he eats it, he likes to have carrot in it. So I just grind up my carrot. I just grate it on a grater. This is totally optional, so I mean, if you don't want to add your carrot, you don't have to. You can actually add, for some color, you can add purple cabbage to your coleslaw mixture as well, if you want to omit the carrot. Also add it with our cabbage. There's not a whole lot of carrot there. I mean, that's not even a cup. It's just enough to put some sweetness in there. Okay. Okay, so that's it for the chopping for the cabbage. So what we're going to do next, just mix it all up before we add our other ingredients. Okay. Okay, so we got that mixed up. Okay. Now, the next ingredient is mayonnaise. Now this is my own homemade mayonnaise. If you want to see the recipe on how to make your keto mayonnaise real cheap, real easy, there's no rocket science to it at all, check out my other video that you can find in my YouTube channel. Okay, so we're going to add some mayonnaise. We're going to put it over here. It's about 1/4 cup, but I like my coleslaw to be kind of liquidy, so I'm going to probably add a little bit more than that. Maybe like 1/2 cup. To that mixture, we're going to add some celery seed. I like the taste of celery seed in my coleslaw, so I'm going to add 2. This is about a teaspoon, so 2 teaspoons of that. Also going to add 2 teaspoons of salt and pepper. Actually, I'm going to do 3 teaspoons because cabbage is sometimes pretty hard to flavor. And then to that, we're going to take some apple cider vinegar. Shake it up. And about, I'm going to say about 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. Okay. And then once we get that started, our final ingredient. All my sweetening, I use stevia. It's not sugar. I use stevia powder, and I also use stevia liquid. So we're going to add a little bit of the stevia for the sweetness that coleslaw has. I usually add maybe like a tablespoon. I don't like it too sweet, but the vinegar is going to break up that sweetness. So now we just give it a stir. We don't want a core piece in there. Just give it a nice toss around until it's fully coated. I want to make sure all the cabbage is coated. So you're going to place the cover on your coleslaw, and you're going to want to store it in the refrigerator. You know, the longer the pot, the longer the better. But in this household, things don't stay in the refrigerator too long, so it's probably going to sit in the refrigerator for about maybe half an hour to an hour. But the longer you can go, the more it's going to break down and release all that goodness, the flavorings. Go. Now we got the coleslaw done and it's in the refrigerator doing its thing. Where it's time to prepare the ribs for our Asian-inspired pork ribs. Okay, so I got the boneless pork ribs. I like them to have a little bit of fat on there because it tends to be a little bit more tender. So you don't have to use all of these. I'm probably only going to use 2 pieces here and save the rest for later because the way I make it, it does make a lot, okay? So what we're going to do, now you can leave this whole, you can leave your pieces whole if you want, but it's a lot easier to season and prepare if you cut them in sections. Okay, so we'll just do 2 sections like that, so 3 pieces out of that one and 3 pieces out of this one. Okay. Now, because these are thick, kind of thick, I want them to cook evenly, so I'm just going to butterfly them a little bit so they can cook evenly and more flavoring gets dispersed through the meat as well. So let's just butterfly your pieces. Okay, now the boneless pork ribs have been butterflied, cut in sections, and thrown in a bowl. The next step is to add the rest of the ingredients. I coat my ribs, even though there's plenty of fat on there, I still coat them with olive oil just so the spices and everything can stick to them. And again, it's light tasting olive oil. And then I'm going to take hot pepper flakes, about half a tablespoon hot pepper flakes. Okay. We're going to take some garlic, already chopped garlic, about half a tablespoon, and I also include some of that garlic juice in there, about 1 tablespoon total. Along with this, we're going to add some reduced sodium soy sauce. Okay, we're going to add about 2 tablespoons in there, maybe 3. You want to get them really coated, saturated with probably like a 1/4 cup. And then we have some sesame seed oil that gives a lot of Asian flavor to it. That's about maybe, I don't know, a 1/4 tablespoon or so. And then we're gonna add some onion powder to that. Oh, half a teaspoon. Okay. And then our salt and pepper to taste. Okay. Now remember, there's soy sauce already in here, so you don't want to add too much salt because it'll mess up the flavor there and it'll be too salty. And then finally, for that sweet, sweet flavor, to make it like those boneless spare ribs that you get out of your Chinese buffet, right? Go ahead and get some stevia in there. That's about a tablespoon. A little bit more. Okay. And then we're going to grab a spoon right here. We're just going to mix all that up, make sure everything's coated with everything. Okay. And I'm telling you, when you eat this, you're going to be like, wow, is this really sugar-free? Is it really keto? And yes, my friends, it is. Did you see any bad things going into this recipe? I didn't. Okay. Now that everything's stirred up, ideally you want to let this sit in the refrigerator for about 25 to 30 minutes just so it can, you know, marinate a little bit. I'm not going to do that. It's just going to sit here while I get the pan real hot. And by the time that happens, you know, it's ready to get a good sear on those pieces of pork ribs. Okay, our pan is getting hot. It's about ready to get, you know, added the pork ribs to be added. Before I do that, I just want to show everyone what I found in the grocery store yesterday. It is the G. Hughes sugar-free dipping sauce, honey mustard sauce. It's not 100% keto because of the cornstarch that's added into it, but if you're doing dirty keto and you want to count your carbs, it's 2 grams of carbs for 2 tablespoons. It's delicious. I use the sugar-free barbecue sauce as well by G. Hughes, and when I found this, I was like, oh, that's my new favorite thing. So if you see it in the store, pick it up because it's really good. Okay. So let's go ahead and add our boneless ribs. That's all been seasoned, and ideally, like I said, you want to have it marinating for 25-30 minutes before adding. And that's what you want to hear when you add your pork to the pan. You want to hear that sizzle. It's going to give you a nice sear on that meat. The pork ribs are boneless, so that means they're going to cook a lot quicker. They've been simmering. They've been cooking for about 5 minutes, so it's time to flip them, so we can get this meal done. Alright, look at that nice sear that occurred. No, not that one. Just flip them all around. Welcome back. Okay, the ribs are ready to come off, and what we're going to do is just pull them off. And we're going to prepare a plate for you. That was a little... Okay. We're all done. It's time to dig in. Just a quick recap. We got the coleslaw over here, just the green cabbage, a little bit of carrot, with the boneless pork spare ribs, seasoned with the Asian flair. I hope you enjoyed this video on Keto Food Network. I'm Dawn, and meet me back here next time. Oh, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and the little bell. It lets me know, they'll let you know that I got a new video coming along. Take care, folks.